I don't know.
Well, let's start with episode 0. I know. I don't know if it was you or Jack who were against that title.
I don't think I would have been that against it, because I think even before like we put this out, or as we were filming it, we knew this part was like basically the backstory, or like the prelude to the actual rest of the whatever we were gonna make.
Right. Do you remember why we filmed this and how it all started?
Uh, Not necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you go.
So, I know you came up with the original idea. Do you want to start with that, or do you want to start with the actual reason we shot this stuff?
I'll start with that a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
So, if I remember correctly, I came to Jack and Ryan with the idea to do a sort of detective story about a guy who is a detective, but is still a college student and stuff. So my idea was to make it a detective story for a college setting, kind of like other stuff has been made, like a movie that I really like called Brick. That's like a detective in the high school setting, and all of the typical high school characters are now dressed up to be noir detective type of characters. And so I kind of wanted to do that. I remember I wrote a short little thing about 2 campus security guards just talking and stuff, because I imagined you and Jack playing them. And then
and this was much more serious.
Well, it was very casual. I wouldn't say serious, but it was meant to be read very casually between you guys.
Yeah, but I say serious as in it wasn't.
It wasn't gonna be as comedic.
It wasn't
in tone.
Yeah,
as,
like a parody satire thing that it turned out to be. It was much more realistic, more everyday, regular day type thing, where just 2 guys talking, as opposed to being a slapstick comedy.
Yeah. And I did think it was gonna be heightened, but that heightened detective story in the setting would be a little self-aware of itself, the characters kind of treated seriously, but the audience would recognize that it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing, I guess.
I'd say your first mistake was not knowing that Jack and I had not seen the movie Brick.
Well, yes, that was that maybe that's the first instance of me realizing that I shouldn't have given you guys the first little blurb thing that I ever came up with, because I just wrote that as a prelude idea, and then I thought, and I could write another episode where they actually do jump into the detective stuff a little more heavily.
Mm-hmm.
And as it progresses, it becomes more and more a detective thing with each episode or each little mini story. But then I remember I gave it to you guys. You guys didn't really think it was all that.
Yeah, I think the exact words were, "That's a stupid idea."
Yeah, that pretty much was, and I took that personally.
not even personally. You took that personally for 8 years.
Yeah, because I was dude, this. I took it personally because not only did you guys not like it, but then you took an aspect of it.
Basically, what happened is Alex is hey guys, I have this really cool idea about a detective story on campus where these 2 guys are detectives and they are solving crime in the Isla Vista area. Yeah. And Jack and I, that's a stupid idea. And you even pitched it as a bike gets stolen.
Yeah, there was a bike thief.
It's a bike thief, because that is common in Santa Barbara that people get their bikes stolen.
And I was trying to kind of ground it a little to be realistic, at least to our local area, because that does happen. Yeah. And then this would be that in for the detective thing, that's why it's a college detective, because he's doing college
and you're and you pitch this it's this college detective where this bikes get stolen and they trying to figure out who stole these bikes, and Jack and I were that's a stupid idea, and we just started to film the band episode. We were just getting ready to film it, and you had the camera rolling.
I didn't know that I was saying all this at that time.
Yeah, and then I was hold on a second. I got the idea. What if we do a story about 2 detectives trying to find a bike thief And then Jack was like, "That's a great idea."
And then I was like, what?
And then we we basically took Alex's idea and made it into an improvised version of what we filmed for this episode.
Yeah.
Of just me and Jack going back and forth improvising stuff about a bike thief and like he's leaving panties at the scene of the crime, and
that was the only part that I think was like sort of intact, not only to like my original idea, but just like any sort of like semblance of where this was going to go, because the rest of it was kind of treated like the band in a way, where it was like not shot mockumentary style, but like it was shot where you guys were just riffing ideas on like dumb action or like tough guy detective tropes that you see all the time in movies and television, like interrogating a guy, beating him up, and all that.
Yeah.
And here it's done for comedic effect.
Right. Yeah. And so that's basically, we took Alex's idea and then just turned it into a over the top comedy.
Yeah.
Is what we took it.
Yeah.
And now that you say it again, I actually think that would be a great idea if we shot down to earth, gritty college.
I don't want to do that anymore. I moved on.
Recently. You moved on recently.
No, I moved on a while ago.
You just kept the anger.
Yeah, I did hold on to the anger because I was like, dude, like, how do you guys not see what you did? Now
it's called the act of collaboration. And you throw out a bad idea, and then I make it better.
No, that's not. No, that's. We don't know that it would have been better because mine never happened. But it did piss me off when like the I.V.P.D. stuff also turned out to be pretty good. But that was a love-hate thing. But whatever, it's in the past now, and it is what it is. And
So you pitched that idea, and then Jack and I riffed on it, and like we liked it so much, we're like, let's just shoot that now. And then you said no, we're supposed to shoot the band. So then we're like, okay, we'll shoot this.
That was probably me being like, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna steal my idea.
Which wasn't stolen. It's called a collaboration.
I don't even know what to say, but
and we ended up filming this like the next week, and you and I had actually worked on story ideas of like actual like beats. And I remember I
do remember coming up with like, oh, let's just jump back in time and stuff.
Yeah, and we were supposed to shoot this pretty early in the morning.
Good evening, sir.
Hi.
I'm Detective John Mooney. So I wonder if I could ask you a few questions.
Yeah, of course. Come on in.
Why, thank you.
But then Jack was busy, so we just sat there at the kitchen table and just hammered out an actual episode.
Which was more of a prelude to the whole thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
And again, that's how it ties into episode 0, which I wasn't against episode 0. Did we go back in, or did you go back in and rename it?
No, I didn't do that.
Okay.
So basically, it was...
Because we knew where it was going to start, or like what the rest of the story was going to be.
Yeah.
And we knew that this was like basically like a back in time thing.
Right, yeah. And so when we figured it out and Jack was ready, I was like, no, this is going to be an episode. And so we shot it. We shot almost all of it that night.
Yeah.
I think...
Yeah.
I think we shot... No, I think we shot everything that night. And then we had Cameron come over and shoot that one shot where you're on the couch.
Yeah. The same night, I think.
Same night. Because I recognize that because you can tell by the sound of my voice, the deeper it gets, the later it is in the night.
Because you were doing more stuff with like the character thing?
No, because I'd been up since 3 that morning.
Oh, that's right.
We literally finished shooting this at like 2:30 or 3 o'clock. And then I went home, changed, and went to work.
Oh, so you didn't get to sleep?
I didn't get to sleep until the next morning. After I came back from work.
Well, that sucks, dude. That sucks.
You can tell progressively that my voice is just getting deeper and lower as we go.
Stolen and their bed couch cleaned out. These lights are really bad. They're not intimidating at all.
If you listen closely, this John Mooney voice is different than the one I use moving forward.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I did notice that. Yeah, I just figured that was a result of not like having honed in the idea as much or whatever.
That and I think this episode I had a cold, and so that affected my voice. and then we still hadn't thought about doing we didn't go full cartoony yet.
No.
Basically, when we got to that next one, I couldn't recreate the sound that I had done, which was like a more realistic sounding voice than the one I'm doing now.
It was still exaggerated, but you're saying more realistic compared to what you did later?
Yeah, because that was just more of like a deeper, like, it was like a good evening.
Yeah.
Are you one Samuel Benito?
Yeah.
Right, like that sound, like it's close to the voice, and so I think when we shot the other episode, we were like, well, we would watch the footage and then, okay, how close can you get to that voice? And then that came to John Moody, detective.
Yeah.
Which that's still not close. It takes me, when I get out of it, it's I gotta like rehearse it a few times to get back into the voice, and I came up with some key words to get to it. It gets me there faster, but I still gotta practice it.
Yeah, I remember you doing the like figuring out the mustache thing too. That like pretty like close to filming, right? You just went into the bathroom and like messed around with the mascara. Was that?
Yeah. I literally bought mascara that day as I was leaving the store.
Okay.
Kmart. So I was at Kmart as I was clocking out. I bought mascara, came back because I had a beard still. Mm-hmm. A little bit of a beard. If you can, you from that week, I grew a little beard for the week, and then shaved into a mustache and put mascara into the mustache, and that's how it all started.
Yeah, how it turned.
Yeah, because I couldn't grow facial hair at that time very well. So that's really
but I do remember like you were noticing. Oh wow, I'm like starting to grow out.
Yeah, I know. I was super excited because I wanted the mustache, and the mustache didn't show up on camera. So I was like,
yeah. You were like, yeah.
So then I put mascara in, and it was like super dark. And I was like, this is stupid.
I remember that. I remember.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, I had a mustache too, but mine was the fake one.
Yeah, we used a fake mustache.
Yeah, I don't know why we had that either.
Because I think I was practicing mustaches, so I didn't know if the mascara was going to work. So I bought fake mustaches at Kmart at the same time.
Oh, okay.
And then we came home, and I liked how the mustache with the mascara looked on me. But then we wanted to go super over the top with you, and we gave you a mustache.
Yeah, we were trying to make me look as stereotypically Mexican, essentially. And I
think we
that meant the little handlebar mustache and a bandana.
We had a sombrero on you too.
Yeah, and I think I was against that.
No, you were for it. Jack was against it. You thought it was funny because we were doing this stereotypical like idea of what a Mexican looks like, and we were gonna have a comment on it about how John Mooney and Trent are slightly racist.
Slightly?
Well, incredibly racist. But we actually had a large bit in there where we comment on you being Mexican, like really playing up the racism, that our characters are just really stupid and racist.
Yeah.
And then Jack was super against that, and we had to cut that out.
Yeah. I do remember the sombrero. I do remember that I was probably like all right with it, but I don't know.
It was actually your idea.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, well then okay.
Yeah, it was your idea to play up the Mexican thing.
I do remember that, but I thought I wanted the bandana initially.
You did want the bandana, but you also...
And the sombrero?
Yeah.
At the same time? Wow.
Yeah, and I really liked that idea, so I really heavily went along with it.
Oh, okay.
And then Jack said no, and then we argued for about 2 hours, which progressed the filming to later in the night. And then I was like, fine, like it really didn't matter.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this doesn't change the story, so yeah, we can cut the racistness out of it, and so we cut the racistness.
I mean, it's still kind of in there.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think a fact that a lot of people don't get, that we had to re-explain later on, was that we planted the evidence on you.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty apparent. Like,
well, we made it even more apparent in there, and Jack made us cut that out too because he wanted the detectives to be like the good guys.
But they're not.
They're not. That was what you and I had come up with from the beginning, that these guys aren't the good guys.
Yeah.
But Jack wanted them to be the good guys, so we ended up having... I think we argued about that too, like, and then I was like, and then you're like, Ryan, they're clearly planning the evidence. Like, people are gonna get that. So I was like, okay, fine. Like, we can like not overtly say that they planted the evidence.
How was it more overt before? I forgot.
I think I had an actual line of like, we know you're bad. even though we planted the evidence.
Oh! Oh! Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that would have been a subtle hint. No, I actually like the way it turned out this way because, like, it's not that in your face.
Yeah.
But you hear the glass breaking and all that crap, and like, and this guy, to the audience's knowledge, hasn't done anything because nothing's happened on screen anyway.
Yeah, and then you also see me being real stupid. Like, is the Global Studies reader?
Yeah,
like,
you're
what
being
is this? Is this fake?
Super aggressive
Yeah.
and intimidating. And then he just busts in with a convenient handful of credit cards and ID cards or whatever it was supposed to be. I do remember though that at the part when like you guys are finally interrogating me with a gun and like threatening to kill me if I don't confess. I thought that was hilarious because I've always wondered about that in movies. Like, why wouldn't anybody just like? How do they not think that they're just gonna get bullshit? But I didn't do anything.
Hand me the gun, Trent.
Okay. I confess I did it. I stole their identities.
How did you do it?
With carefulness.
We had, well, I had at least because I was majoring in psychology at that time. There are so many stories about people confessing to crimes they never committed to police officers just because of like the duress they were under. They were being told that they did it. That like they just they
were
panicked
more afraid
and had
of
so much anxiety. They're more afraid that they would go to jail forever if they didn't confess, because they were like, oh, if you say you're guilty, we'll knock your crime down to 5 years or 10 years.
We'll give you this reduced
as opposed
sentence.
to the death penalty.
Yeah.
And so like there's studies of like tons of people confessing to all these crimes.
Yeah.
And so like I'm telling you that I don't believe you when you're telling me the truth. So
yeah, well, that was the other part of knowing that you guys were like crooked cops essentially because you planted the evidence to begin with, but then you like torture and like threaten to murder the guy that you're accusing in order to get him to confess.
Right, but see, here's the funniest thing is that our characters truly believe you're the guy.
That is the funny part though. Like they're so stupid, they don't recognize that like everything that they did is not only illegal and wrong and immoral and that they're the bad guys, but they believe that they're using proper, I don't know how to explain it. They believe that they're using the proper techniques, and then when like those wrong techniques,
their crimes, what they're doing justifies their crimes.
Right. But like when they finally get the confession, they're like, "Oh, I knew it!" Like they actually believe it. It's not just like they're like, "Oh, we got him to say it, dude." Like, we're like, our plan worked. No, it's like, "Oh, like we got him. We got the truth out of him."
Yeah. And like, of course, you're gonna confess when I have a gun and tell you that I'm gonna kill you, right?
Yeah.
Of course, you're gonna say exactly what I'm asking you to do.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah. I was right here.
Hey, what are you doing? Books? What are you reading, huh? What is this?
Anthropology.
So you're saying you're a professor?
No.
What is this?
I'm a student.
What is this? Thinking globally, a global studies reader. It's probably a fake.
This entire thing was improvised. Like, we didn't have like any of the lines down. We just had like kind of ideas.
Yeah.
And you could really see the improvisationalness of a lot of this.
Yeah.
Especially me looking at the camera a lot.
Well, that part's not supposed to be improvised. That's just
no. It's just me bad acting.
That's just
This is bad acting. We did so many takes of me not looking, of trying to get me to not look into the camera.
So you didn't have anyone where take where you didn't look at? Okay, you just had to use the one that was the most usable.
Amount. Yeah.
Are you Juan Samuel Benito?
Yes, sir, I am.
Oh, good.
Take a seat.
For the stand.
Oh, all right. Yeah, no. It came together pretty well. It was funny. I even don't like hate my acting. Not to say that I don't like seeing myself, but I was like, I don't know, this is kind of tolerable because I look pretty different from.
My acting isn't great, but I enjoy watching it because like this is really the first time that I acted. Right, like the band was different because it was a mockumentary, and you could have like those like missteps and stuff like that. And you can look into the camera, but like for this was like actual acting.
Yeah.
And it's for me, it's a great first video to see like where it all started. It really, you know, like actually like trying to write a story, even
Yeah.
though we improvised a lot of lines. Like we wrote story beats and story like moments.
Yeah.
And we did have like key dialogue where like we did want to say and hit. And it just,
There were still bits, I think, in there that we definitely improvised. Like,
Yeah.
the whole Christmas lights thing, that was just, like, a joke to get in there. Like, I think I specifically remember us being basically saying, oh, what if it's, like, an interrogation where they've got him sitting down and, you know, they hold, like, the hanging lamp into his face or whatever. We didn't have that, or not anything like that. So then we were like, well, what if, like, we throw the Christmas lights around to not only light the scene a little bit, but also, like, that's the intimidating mood lighting. And then we literally acknowledge it.
Yeah.
But if you, just real quick, if you just watch that, like, I just wake up, comment on it, and then I get knocked out again. Like, and I really like the way we filmed the me getting knocked out the first time, too, because it's my POV.
Yeah.
And, like, it was really well done, I thought. Like, you guys are yelling right into the camera, and then, like, I'm not saying what you guys want to hear. So you punch me, and the camera moves this way and this way. And it was cool. I like that.
Yeah, I think my favorite part of this video is the putting the glasses on and then whipping them off.
Yeah. That was hilarious.
Let's get serious up here. I'm gonna ask you once, and one time only. Where did you get the identity cards?
A lot of really what I.V.P.D. is based off of is like the really bad action movies or like the overdramatic stuff, and like us kind of making fun of that.
Or even good action movies.
Yeah, good action movies. Just all their tropes that they're doing in there that don't generally make sense.
Yeah.
And so like the whipping off the glasses, that was part of it. Yeah, we do a whip pan in this one too. That I think mostly works when you try and run for it because there's only 3 of us.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Because when it's on you and Jack, I'm holding the camera.
Right.
And you run for it, and so I whip it, and then we hand it off to Jack.
Well, then we had to reset up, and then Jack did that whip.
And then you ran, and then he followed you as you whipped it, and I grabbed you, and then we cut to a tripod, or somehow we angled the camera up to be shoving you into the seat.
Yeah.
No. That was a POV, I think, of me shoving you into the seat.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I already forgot the video. But yes, I do remember that whip pan now, and I did notice like it looks a little not off,
wonky,
but you know it looks sudden.
Yeah,
like it's got a jerk to it.
I think this is still when we hadn't figured out the rule of or the 180 degree line, where the camera's not supposed to cross the 180 degree line where you start it.
I don't think we really cross it though.
Or
if we do cross it, it's like at a good point to cross it.
We cut it at when we're doing over the shoulders of me and you, and then we cut to like way over here when Jack busts through the door. Mm-hmm. And we probably should have shot that as like, if I reshot this again, I would shoot it right. I would cut to a double of you and me, and then shooting through towards the door where Jack burst in, so you could see both of us.
Oh, okay.
And look.
Yeah, that would have been easy too.
Yeah, that's how I would reshot that, and then really. Anything that I would change is just, again, trimming down the space and things, and
overall some of it maybe is a little long on the beginning end.
Yeah,
but I think everything else is pretty tight.
Like this runs pretty well. I mean, obviously, better lighting, better acting, better.
That's the other thing. We said we didn't light anything, but I can clearly see like. Not like professional lights, but I can see the lights.
Lamps.
The lamps. We were probably pointing them or something, because I can totally see the shadows and stuff.
You can see the shadow of Jack holding the camera.
Yeah.
But this is the first time we used the camera mount that me and my dad built.
That's right. I love that thing.
Wiki.
What's going on?
Your last chance to confess.
All right, so what are your overall thoughts of this episode?
It's still funny. It's very clearly like a raw idea still, I think.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it also feels very much like a prelude. And, I mean, that's overtly, I guess, evident with the title of the episode and, within the context of the rest of the season. This is the one thing that takes place, like, 19 years ago. Why did we pick 19 years, by the way?
Oh, I just thought it was funny.
It was an arbitrary number.
It's an arbitrary number that I thought was funny.
Yeah. So there was that. I do think we tried to like not dress up the place, but like take stuff out of the frame that was too modern.
Yeah. No, we definitely wanted to make it look old. And I
But like our place already kind of looked old anyways
did,
because
yeah.
of the furnishing and all that, which is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were gonna say?
I think the reason why we made it 19 years ago was honestly when I was just editing it, and I was just like, I just threw it in there.
Yeah.
Because I thought it'd be funny.
Yeah.
And I remember you and Jack might have like brought it up, but like I don't think it was like a big like
Deal,
and so that it just snuck through.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah. Snuck through. I mean, like the opening card in big bold letters is 19 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it cracks me up now, but I don't know what I said back then.
I really did enjoy watching this episode.
Likewise.
I think like overall the idea is really sound.
Mm-hmm.
And we executed it, I think, pretty well based on like the time and what we had and like our experience and everything.
Yeah,
like, I'm impressed. I really liked it, and I like having it up still. Just like this was actually one of the videos that some people commented on, like
taking
it down. Like pretty much, they wanted to take down everything up to I think the second season, because the second season is really, I think, tight and like.
Yeah, I agree, but I like the whole series.
Yeah, no, the first season I love the first season.
The first season is hilarious.
Yeah, but like just it's I think like technical aspects we cleaned up a lot,
Sure,
and, like
sure.
camera quality and stuff like that. But like I was like,
is this the one with the wee backline?
Yeah, first season's the we backline.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. I disagree.
Yeah, but like no, that's the thing is like you like, oh, you want to really promote yourself as a filmmaker, as like it needs to be clean and concise, and like you got to have like a clear voice. And I was like,
but that's talking about a portfolio, not like a whole channel. I don't know. I feel like those are two different things.
Yeah, no, and so like, yeah, I was like, no, we're not taking anything down. I've only taken one video down, which was the political one that you had no part of. Jack and I shot that for like in an hour in his room. We were
Where was I?
you went
Was I
home.
home?
You started vacation basically. It was like the first day, like you left on for vacation. Jack and I were staying one day extra, and we just shot something.
Okay, that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
I was there most of the time that you guys were.
Yeah, but like we haven't taken any videos down other than that one, and
Yeah, so.
that quality wasn't. It was like below the quality of all the other ones.
Right.
So, yeah, no, but I like the idea of showing you, where we started, right?
Yeah.
And like, if we can do it, so can anyone else who has an iPhone.
Yeah.
You know, like we didn't have that capability at that time.
We had iPhones and stuff.
Yeah, but the iPhones weren't shooting.
Not in that quality, but
Yeah.
they weren't like. We could have done something with an iPhone, but like we weren't. We wanted the camera or like a camcorder and stuff.
I also didn't have an iPhone at that time.
Mm.
Jack didn't have an iPhone. I had an iPod Touch, and then.
But we all had We all could have filmed like a little something.
Yeah, but none of us had an iPhone.
I'm not. But it doesn't have to be an iPhone. We did have smartphones. Did you actually?
I didn't.
I did, and Jack did. So
I had one of those like. It was a smartphone per se, but it was like the ones that you slide upward.
Right. Yeah.
So like, and that camera there was no quality of camera on that one.
The camera. Well, look, the camera on my phone back then, which was like a Droid 2 or something, wasn't like good compared to the phone cameras that are out now. But you know, it certainly was a lot. You could get like some nice images
Yeah, but like if you're taking pictures, but like the video quality wasn't comparable.
Maybe the video quality was worse. I'm just like, in my mind, I'm comparing this to back when I had like a Razor and when people had cameras in the mid 2000s, and you could clearly see like everything was pixelated as hell.
It was still like that. If you look back at the iPod Touch images that I had, they weren't very good images.
But compared to that's what I'm saying. In my mind, I'm just comparing it to these really older phones.
Yeah, no, we bought the camcorder for a reason. Is because our phones couldn't capture the quality for video, specifically for video, and the microphones on those weren't really good either.
That part is true. That the mic sucked.
Yeah, and so like we needed something that could capture the audio and the video quality.
Yeah.
Plus, my camera couldn't take a video longer than like a minute. Because it was like one of those shitty smartphones.
Yeah, well.
And so you also couldn't record very long on those things. Like there were like the gigabytes on that. It was like the storage capacity was very small.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the thing that, we didn't think about this back then, or at least I don't think we did. But we probably could have gotten a mic and then tried to shoot something. But it would have been difficult.
We had a wired mic. That was a lapel mic, so only one person can wear it at a time.
Whatever happened with that one?
Dude, it was,
I don't remember using that.
We never used it because the sound quality was super bad on it. It was like there's like a lot of hissing and a lot of like white noise in there, so we just never used it. But yeah, it's like the reason why I keep it up is just because it's like, why not? Like this is where we started. You know, like I need this video to be where we are now. So without I.V.P.D, like I.V.P.D really was the start of like our channel. Yeah. It was the start of us starting to write stories. It was the start of us learning how to really use the camera in different like angles and positions, and how to really film actors acting. Like it's really the first actor video that we did. It's the first like story video, and it is
blocking
the real lighting that we did. Editing it was like so different than the Band and Amazon Instant and the Egg.
Well, yeah, because those were kind of like non-connected shots in a way. I would say the Egg had a little more connective tissue to it, but we also filmed that very like intentionally as we moved along with it, so I feel like that might have smoothed that out a bit. But with something like the Band, you could basically just throw in the scenes whenever and just add transition.
It didn't matter what scene came first or when that happened, but this was like a story, Yeah. And editing this was like, we filmed everything that we filmed, and some of it didn't work, some of it worked, and then putting it together was like, oh, I can cut this there, I like that. This really showed me like the power of editing and like how you could retool the story to fit something, or and like really like lasered in on like the idea of filmmaking. Was the first episode of I.V.P.D.
Yeah. I remember, and then I was like, oh, who's watching this, if anything, because I think we just kind of sent it out to friends here and there and stuff like that. But I remember one time I was going to, I don't remember where I was going to. I think it might have been Freebirds, but I was on that street on Pardal, and I was crossing, and I ran into Eldar, and we didn't really hang out with Eldar, but I remembered him, and I was like, oh, what's up, Eldar? And he's like, oh, what's up, man? And then he's like, hey, I've seen your videos that like you do with Ryan. And I was like, oh yeah. And he's like, yeah, it's really funny stuff, man. Like I like it. So like keep working on it. And I was like, oh dang.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy with like, because we didn't talk to Eldar. We never sent Eldar the actual video.
No, that's how.
We didn't send to Brent either.
Yeah, that's why I wondered, like, how did Eldar get the video?
I have no idea how they found it, but they were watching it, and I was like, that was like great to hear. Like someone outside of us and our family
or friend groups
like was like, yeah, like. Yeah. What you're doing is great. Like, you just keep doing it.
Yeah.
So like that was really cool. Really, really cool.
Agreed. It was cool.
All right. Any last thoughts?
Nope.
No. No. Well, then I think that's the episode then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have any more questions or any things that you think we missed, comment down below and we'll see if we can address those questions. If you have questions about another episode or another video or about filmmaking in general, let us know and we'll try and answer those questions.
Yeah, try and get to it.
Thanks guys for watching. It's been a wild ride. Talking with Alex here makes me relive the glory days of college.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Next week we have, I believe, either episode 0 part 2.
Wait, what? It's called part 2?
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably where an issue starts to come in. That is stupid in my opinion, but whatever.
All right. We did it.
All right.
I really don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah!